Ladies, let me stop. Let me stop playing with y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody watching, this is InfoSec Unplugged. It's Thursday. Ah, damn. See, look, I done messed up my own intro. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody watching, it's Thursday, so you know what that means. Welcome to another episode of InfoSec Unplugged. I am your humble host, Davin Jackson, also known as DJax Alpha on Twitter. Thank you for joining. Running into hold on one second, running into a couple issues with getting our guest on. Of course, you know, the first show back, live television, but we're gonna get it right. So I'm just gonna talk to y'all for a minute. How's everybody doing? um I'm nervous. If I'm being honest, I'm nervous as all hell. I know we did the show last week with the Share the Mic and Cyber, but I'm actually nervous. Like, this is the first episode all over again. So give me 1 second. Send this here. All right, cool. All right, so like I said, this is InfoSec Unplugged. I am your host, Davin Jackson. Can y'all hear me out there? Just make sure y'all, just send me something in the chat. JB says, "Good looking cut." Thank you, sir. I try. I try. I gotta be. I can't be having. I can't be looking crazy. My mama and my wife always tell me always be presentable, right? So, anyway, while we're waiting for our guest, I really wanted to take some time out and talk to y'all, my pack. Um, I love y'all to death, like seriously. Um, Everybody talks about support, and I do have a very strong support system and family and friends and people that I trust. Um, my mama's on the show. I don't care what nobody say now. My mom's on the show. But seriously, I do have a strong support system. However, when it comes to doing certain things like this, I don't always get that support. Not that I'm really looking for it, because I definitely have you guys supporting me, but it definitely goes a long way. And in my time off, and in my time of deciding whether or not I was gonna come back and do this, because it is a lot, if I'm being honest. Um, y'all were the deciding factor. So, like I said, I'm back. I'm here, and like I said, I'm ready to do this. So, like I said, still waiting on the guest to arrive. But like I told you guys in the tweet earlier, we want to shout out a couple people. So, like always, the show is sponsored by Udemy, which you probably can't see the link, but Udemy is an online training platform that has all types of training courses from anything you will pretty much look for, and it's always on sale. I'm just going to go run through them real quick. Webroot's antivirus is a antivirus solution that is quick to set up, affordable, and a really good product. And finally, this show is sponsored by We Hack Purple, who was generous enough to offer me some courses to give away today. So I will be giving away 3 courses. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to give away one right now. So if you guys are interested in secure coding, put something in the chat. I don't know. Let's see. Let's do a hashtag welcome back or something in the chat. And we're gonna go through the drawing, and we're gonna get someone a course. I mean, let's see here. This is very interesting. Hold on. Still running into some issues. All right, so we see the welcome backs. Let's see here. We are going to go with. I'm gonna put some names in the generator while we wait. Let's see, we got where we at here. Let's see, there's a lot of people here today. Let's see, Jay Ferry. All right, so let's see. Still trying to figure out what's going on here. Not sure why it's not allowing my guests to get into the lobby. Not sure what's going on. All right, so in the meantime, let's do this. Oh man, let's see. The saw your lineup of guests coming up. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be a busy stretch, but I'm happy to be back. So let's try this here. I'm going to share screen two. All right, so we're gonna go here and let's see. Professor Black Ops, congratulations. You won a free secure coding course courtesy of We Hack Purple and Tanya Janca, who is also a friend of the show. So send me a message or a DM and we will get you set up with that account. All right, so let's see. What can we talk about while we're trying to do some troubleshooting? What do y'all want to talk about? I can't join the room. Huh. This is not ideal. Hold on one second. Still trying to figure out what's going on. Um, this sucks. What have you been up to while on break? Let's see. Been doing a lot of reading, trying to spend some time with family, trying to make sense of a lot of things and just um yeah, like I said, giving it some thought about whether or not I was going to come back. Kids are back in school, started a new job, trying to get used to that and really just trying to put out, some more content and figure out what I wanted to do next. So that's pretty much where I've been. Like I said, we took a little vacation, was off the grid for a little while, showed up on a couple of other podcasts, showing support to other content creators, and just you know trying to get the community um, in a positive way. It's been very interesting the last few months, to say the least. Uh, and just trying to be the change that I want to see. So trying while I'm break, tried to figure out a couple different things and tried to figure out what I wanted to do next. I was not prepared for this. Like I said, I'm still waiting to get on here. So let's see. I'm gonna try to do something in the meantime. I'm not sure why it's not working. And this sucks because the guest that I have is a really great guest, and I really wanted her to be on here. So I'm still trying to troubleshoot and get that squared away. I know if I end this, if I, let's see. Okay, well, hold on. I know if I end this, if I, let's see. Hold on. I can hear your speakers, sir.
Yeah. Why that is.
Hold on. I can hear your speakers, sir.
Yeah. How about now?
Nah, you sound good now.
Yeah. Okay.
How you doing, sir?
Man, I'm good. How you been?
Other than some technical difficulties.
Man, I just got done with my workout. Was like, hey, I'm gonna hop on. Looking forward to the show, and figured since you needed a little help getting this going, like why not hop on? It's been a while. We chatted anyway, so how's work going?
Work's been good, man. It's been hectic. It's a lot going on, but I can't complain. New beginnings, new company, definitely not as toxic as the last place.
That's
so
good.
We just been trying to push out everything, make sure we're good, make sure the security's on point. You know how everything is with these days. Everybody has different issues and different points of view. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, the team I work with it's a small team, but it's a great team. We're all on the same page and just trying to get it right.
Yeah.
So how about you? Like,
yeah, I'm hanging in there. Hey, can you talk about at all the security conference that you're going to be going to?
Oh yeah, so I'll be at the Sands Hack Fest in a couple weeks, a week and a half. So the Sands Hack Fest 2021 is their first one back that's live. There's going to be a lot of great speakers there. Kim Crawley's going to be there. Philip Wiley's going to be there. Bryson Bort giving a keynote speech. Tanisha Martin from Black Girls Hack, she's also giving a keynote. And there's going to be a lot of different talks. I think Cedric Owens is another guy there who I was looking forward to seeing, who does a lot of cloud and IoT pen testing stuff. So let me see. So yeah, like I said, shout out to Sands. They had originally reached out to me about doing a talk, and I hold on, and I couldn't at the time because I thought I was going to be somewhere else. And then instead, okay, let's try that one now. So yeah, so I and then those plans fell through, and then I kind of reached out to them and said, well, okay, I can't be there to speak, but I'll show up.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. I'll be up in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I think we're going to try and get something set up with Ty too. So that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
if he's free, I mean, he's like Mr. Hollywood now. So
yeah, yeah, you gotta, you gotta get on his schedule now.
So he might have some paparazzi following him around or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. So Kalila says the vacation bandits in the house.
Oh, what's up, Kiki? What's good?
Studio Sec says Jay Bizzle. And there's cover 6 right there.
Oh, there he is. There he is.
So yeah, like I said, so I'll be in your neck of the woods. I don't know if Ty, I have to reach out to his assistant and see if he's yep, see, there he goes. Set it up with my agent.
So I haven't been to that SANS conference before. Is this going to be your first time?
Yeah, this is my first time live in person. Like I said, I've seen them online. I've seen a bunch of the talks online. So let's see. She still having issues with the. Okay, does she have the link? Okay, so yeah, so we're still working on getting our guests in here. But yeah, like I said, you're on Twitter with it, so I guess we can talk that you've just been enjoying life.
I have been. It's been a good summer, I guess. So trying to get in as many vacation trips as I can. Now it's wintertime, getting a little bit colder. So
yeah. So and I saw you were actually you were in my area a couple weeks ago. I guess you were leaving somewhere and you drove through Connecticut.
Yes. So I had gone up to Vermont and to Maine and hit all the foliage and stuff like that, which was good. Got some hikes in while I was up there. One of those up there I've been wanting to do like my whole life, and it just happened to be they normally shut it down from like April to August because they got like falcons nesting and stuff like that. So
yeah,
just happened to get lucky to be there at the right time to be able to do it and not fall off a cliff while I was doing it. So that's always that's always a good thing.
Yeah, that's definitely a plus. Never to don't never want to fall off. But so the last few times I've been on, I've been talking about this cheat code that everybody has. So let's see. So there was Dominique.
Yep.
Shout out to Dominique. Shout out to Tanisha. I'm sorry, Tanya Wilson. Shout out to Tanisha Martin. Where the cheat code seems to be everybody has this time that I can't seem to find. Now you, with all of your trekking and trips you've been taking, you've knocked out a lot of certifications.
Yeah.
Dude, what the hell?
So I don't know. It's a combination of a few things, right? Like I'd kind of already prepped to take some higher level cloud certs before. So I kind of already knew the basic information that the more entry level certs covered. So then it was more just understanding the different terminologies that the different CSPs use. So kind of had a little bit of background on that. The Juniper stuff, I've had just a lot of experience using Juniper for, I don't know, 10, 12 years. So that was pretty straightforward as well. I mean, some of the stuff I didn't. So like the DevOps stuff, because I don't really do any coding or scripting or anything like that. And the Wi-Fi, I never do any Wi-Fi stuff. So that was just kind of, I don't know, relying a little bit on the knowledge that I already had and then focusing on where those gaps were when going through studying. And I think that's kind of an important thing, I guess, for people who maybe haven't had a lot of experience with the certs. Is, if it's stuff that you already are familiar with, just keep it moving. You don't need to kind of reinvent the wheel, especially, just try to optimize your study time to do that. And then also the other thing is, I don't know, finding good training platforms that have the information available to you and doing, practice quizzes and stuff like that. So I think anytime you can find stuff that's going to kind of help it lead you along the learning path compared to kind of jumping into it on your own if you haven't had experience with it, then that's worth doing. And I mean, you're sponsored by Udemy, right? And they have tons of great stuff on there for folks who want to start learning different types of technologies and maybe don't know the right spots to find the resources, especially compared to paying, thousands of dollars for boot camps and stuff like that. I actually have a video I'm working on that I'm putting together on that as well, because I get that question a lot from people. A lot of new people are like, hey, for instance, this one lady sent me pretty much her invoice for a potential thing that she was going to be taking. It was going to be 4 classes and it was going to be like a little bit under $15K. And I'm like, have you done anything in IT yet? And she's like, no, I want to get into it. And I'm like, oof.
Yeah.
So bless your heart. I mean, seriously, that's crazy to get into that and be expecting to pay for that yourself, which is what she was going to do. Yeah, I mean, not to spoil too much of what's going to be going into my video, but I think the boot camps definitely have, their own places. And I don't necessarily think that those places are when you're first doing introductory stuff, especially when they come at that cost.
Right. I actually finished the talk. I haven't presented it yet, but I actually I worked on that over the summer, and the mindset I went into it with was, if I had to start all over again
Mm-hmm.
with absolutely nothing, how could I get the experience I need to land a good
Mm-hmm.
entry level job, or maybe even a mid level job?
Sure.
The talk is actually called "Hacking on a Budget."
Yeah. Cool.
Right. So it starts off with you know, finding the different resources. So Udemy, or some of this, well, I know Cybrary has a lot more paid courses, but like some of the free stuff from Cybrary, there's a bunch of colleges, like MIT has a couple little intro courses and stuff. Um, Using those, and then trying to apply for scholarships with InfoSec Institute, or even SANS,
Yep.
and a couple other CompTIA, and a
Yep.
couple other ones. And then the goal is to try to build up the skill set while trying to save the money, to get to it, because you still have to get those certifications, right? So it's, hold on, let's try that one. So yeah, you still have to get the certifications. You still have to um, pass those to get those on your resume. So that's pretty much been the gist of the talk, of how to get there, how to get the hands-on knowledge, how to get prepared for the certifications, and then what to do next. So hopefully I'll be able to give that talk before the end of the year. Shout out to Mary Galloway, and once again Tanisha Martin. They they actually ganged up on me and said that I should do the talk for both of them. So that's the plan.
And
um
both of their organizations are ones that I always point you
yeah.
folks to. Again, like, if I get people coming in and not necessarily having an idea where to go. Also, TechSec Chicks as well is another,
Yep.
group that I'm just like, hey, this. If you have some questions, here's some folks that will be able to kind of at least share their experiences, and so multiple people within those organizations that kind of have a little bit of wisdom and have been kind of in the same place as what you're in at this point. So yeah, I don't like to see people go and spend all that cash right off the bat when they don't
Yeah.
know what it is that they're doing yet.
And it sucks because you have a lot of people, and I don't want to stir the pot just yet. It's episode one. It's episode one coming back. But you have a lot of people online who, there have been basically two sides. You have the people who really know how to do things, and are trying to present different options to you, and maybe even have courses that
Sure.
they teach and provide. And then you have the other folks who are very questionable, and very maybe not have all the experience that the other side has,
Yeah.
who seem to shoot it down, and are very problematic. Let's
Mm.
just say that. Like I said,
Yeah.
it's the first one back. I'm
Sorry,
trying
man. I don't mean to.
to I'm trying to behave myself. I see Studio Sec talking about stir it.
uh, uh,
But yeah, you have those two sides, where you have people who are really trying to help. And like I said, yeah, the course might be a little expensive for some, and then you have others who don't have the experience, but are trying to teach, or trying to coach, or whatever,
sure.
and leading people in the wrong direction. And I'll be honest with you, that's why I've been very hesitant to put out any course material, or any material that I have,
Yeah.
because I want to make sure it's right. I
Yeah.
want to make sure that it's that there's no questions about it, that it's technically sound and everything. So I've been literally sitting on probably one ebook and probably like two courses
Mm.
that I've done, because of that very reason. So how do you navigate when like you said, when the woman came to you and showed you that she had a $15,000 tab, how do you navigate telling people who to go to or where to go without, I guess, stirring that pot?
Sure. Well, so I mean, and this is exactly what my video is going to be about, but I'll spill it here anyway because we're all friends here in the chat. So, um, it all depends upon everybody's unique situation, and it depends upon your timeline of how quick you need to get into stuff. It depends upon if you already have a background in other things that are relatable. It depends upon if you have the resources available to pay for those classes right off the bat, or you have an organization that's willing to pay for them for you. Um, you know, if you work somewhere or you have the cash flow to be able to pay for the course, then do whatever you feel that you need to do that's going to help you out. I just, knowing myself and kind of, I don't know, going through a whole bunch of different classes and stuff like that, especially at different periods in my career. I don't know how valuable a 1 week boot camp is to somebody right off the bat who doesn't have any foundational knowledge.
Exactly.
And that's why one of the things that I always bring up, and people just aren't aware that that's a thing, is a lot of these basic certs, most community colleges have classes for them, right? And then you're looking at a class that's structured over a 3-month period or an 8-week period. And I think that that's a little bit more digestible at a fraction of the cost than going and paying $3 or $4 grand for a 1 week class, and you have no background in, you know, any of the things that they're talking about.
Well, I mean, I think it's like a conversation we saw last week where people were saying they want to get the CCNA,
yeah,
but didn't need the CCNA,
yeah,
right? You can get
yep,
the Network Plus, and instead it was an issue.
yep.
Oh, I think our guest finally arrived.
I can bounce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, let's make sure that she's good to go. So yeah, so you have those issues, and like I said, I appreciate you sharing, the premise of your video. Like I said, and I guess I'll share something that eventually I'm probably gonna have a talk coming soon, and I want to call that one "Getting the Bag the Right Way," because that's another issue that we have in the community where people are very confused as to what they want to do. But real quick, you also got the Pen Test Plus,
I
right?
do. Yeah. Yep.
Talk about that, because I actually have a question here from
Sure.
Justin Hayward, and he says, "I'm stuck between the OSCP and the ECPPT from eLearn. Which one is more practical?" I would say it really depends on your experience level. I'm not bashing the OSCP. The OSCP is a good one, and it's a good practical certification. So it's both of them are very well put together. So you won't go wrong with either one. However, industry wide for jobs, they look at the OSCP a lot more than the ECPPT, just from my experience. Um, but also, I would say, before you spend all that money on either one, also go check out the Cyber Mentors PNPT course. I think that one's like $300, and like I said, that one's a game changer. So that's just, I just want to answer that question real quick. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. But yeah, talk about your Pen Test Plus experience, and then I'm going to bring on our guest.
So I decided to take the Pen Test Plus just because I pretend to be a hacker on YouTube and don't do any of this stuff in real life. So I was like, hey, and the beta was out, it was $50. So I would say that's one of the largest takeaways is, the CompTIA certs are they aren't the priciest, but they are, they aren't cheap. And they are constantly putting out updates to their certs. And so if you want to get a CompTIA exam for $50, I think that's how much they always charge for their betas.
Yeah.
And you don't mind waiting 4 months to get your results, then yeah, why not go and do that? So I used the Cybex books for that, both the actual study guide, and then the practice test book. And then obviously I do all the Try Hack Me stuff on my channel. And I think we ended up going through, I don't know, maybe 2/3 of their Pentest Plus curriculum.
Yeah, because you and Kiki kind of burned through those.
Yeah,
right?
so I've done a few Pentest Plus ones with her, and then their cyber defense learning path as well. We've hit a few of those, and I have nothing but great things to say about Try Hack Me. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I wish that there was more training opportunities like that for other facets of IT. Although I think they do a pretty good job with their intro stuff, is like kind of starting to get into, you know, the system administration side of stuff. I haven't seen anything that's necessarily like networking specific as far as configuring networking stuff. But yeah, I think for what it is, it's probably one of the easiest ways to actually get some hands-on experience with stuff. And it's free for a large majority of the rooms. So I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm back on Try Hack Me soon. I'm still catching up on my reading. But JB, I appreciate it, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody watching, please give it up for John Breath.
Appreciate it.
I got sound now.
There you go. There you go. It's awesome.
All right, sir. So you take it easy.
All right.
Put you back in the lobby.
See you later.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being patient with me. I appreciate it. I am super excited to bring on my guest for tonight's episode. You may know her from Twitter and Instagram, where she's been killing it lately. You may know her as a cloud security engineer, or you may know her from her book, Proud in Her Hijab. But if you don't, I want you guys to please give a warm welcome to my guest, Zinet Kemal. I think we're finally on here. Yes. How you doing?
I think so. As soon as I unmute myself. How are you, Devin? Glad to be here.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think we're used to getting this kinds of hustle and then just working through it, you know?
Yeah.
Live stream, the joy.
Yep. The joys of live TV. But I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we stuck with it. And for those who don't know you, please introduce yourself and let them know who you are and how you got started.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here, Devin. I would like to say thank you so much for everything that you do for the community, you know, for bringing everybody together with your Follow Fridays and InfoSec Unplugged. I've been tuning in for the past couple of episodes, you know, before you went blank, I guess. But it's been great. I just want to say thank you and congratulate you and everybody who's tuning in tonight. So my name is Zinet Kemal. I first of all, where do I start? I'm a mom of 4 between the ages of 11 and 2 years old. I'm a wife. I am a cybersecurity professional starting, I guess, relatively. And then I'm also a published children's book author. And do you want me to get started answering your question of how I got into cybersecurity? Is that where we're going, Devin?
Yes. Please talk about how you got started.
Yeah, so I moved here from Ethiopia 8 years ago, 2013, to the very wintry Minnesota. We moved here with my husband and my son. Then he's 11 now, but then 2.5 years old. Moved here, had a legal career back then, law degree, and working in the legal field. And then when I moved here, I decided to switch to technology because I've always had this passion and I couldn't change that. You can't do that in Africa. Once you're in certain class from a high school onwards, you can only go to either natural sciences or social sciences. So that wasn't a thing for me. So when I had that opportunity, oh, cool. So I can change and go to school at any age, like whenever I want. That's a big opportunity for me. So when I moved here, I was very pregnant with my second one, 7 months old. So as soon as I had her, I started went back to community college to do my associate's degree in computer programming, then computer science. Up until then, I haven't heard about cybersecurity. Nothing was mentioned to me in any of the classes that I've been, in the community college where I was going, or, the 4-year degree, until the last year of my senior year. There was this class, and the professor, I still thank him, like, he talked about, you can come in and participate in a cyber defense competition representing the university. So come and give it a try. In the beginning, when we started, with a whole full classroom of people who started, but there is a catch, which means that you have to do a lot of self-learning and to be able to be recruited to represent the university. So it was a lot of work at that time, doing undergrad and with children at home, of course. So I was able finally to join the team, with the training and everything, and that sparked my interest really to explore that cybersecurity venue, I guess, and field. So that's how I started. And at that time, I was doing internship just in IT, web team supporting, web content management at a local government as a part-time. So yeah, from there on, I didn't stop. I guess I loved it. I love the fact that, you learn, you have to be continuously learning and evolving, and that, yeah, I mean, pursued certifications and everything afterwards. And then the next step was to find something that's closer to security so that my internship can translate. So networking and there, just expressing where I needed to be to other people, other interns. And through that, I got my first internship within, same organization. And then that's how I got my first job, like as an IT auditor, doing a cybersecurity audit within the same organization, but working in cybersecurity and risk assurance program in that same local government. So that's been the transition, but I'm sure you have a lot of follow-up questions, so I can keep going on up until where I am today. So
No, that's great, and I'm actually glad that you did share all of that, because we were just talking with JB earlier, and one of the conversations that we talk about, and you see a lot online, is the actual journey, right? A lot of people only talk about the destination, but don't talk about how they got to that point. So the fact that you talked about, retraining from, once you came over here, and retraining and going to school, and then discovering cybersecurity and going through that. Thank you for that, because we really need to show that more. A lot of people are guilty, including me, of sometimes just talking about what they're doing lately, and not what it took to get there. And I think it gives off the misconception that it's really simple, and it's not. But you
I
talked
agree.
about, yeah, but you talked about a lot of challenges that you face, being a mom, going to school, coming here from another country, getting involved over here and dealing with that, just to kind of get to where you're at now. But what challenges are you facing currently, as far as the career field, or anything like that?
Yeah, first of all, I want to say, yeah, you're right. Usually people what see on social media is that certification, the badge, not the journey. And maybe because we don't share that as much, or our failures or our struggles in the background, because we only tend to share, the successes. And that's why people, make it seem like it's achieved overnight, but there are a lot of, work that goes through in the background. But when it comes to challenges, in the beginning, it's the not having a background in what I'm going for. So I just started computer programming, and in Africa, I haven't seen that with my law degree, because they don't teach math. Once you're in that field, you're not learning math or any computing stuff. We don't even have computers. Like, so the challenge was just being able to adapt to the classes and being able to learn those computing basics Those were initially, and then the other piece is being in those classes is just not finding anybody that looked like me, really pursuing that. It was, mainly male students that I have been seeing in there. And even then, like even from our community or other people, like seeing me in college, they would completely assume that, oh, are you in a nursing program? And then when I say, no, I'm in computer science or computer programming, and people will say, oh, you're in somewhere else, but it's about pursuing your passion and what you like. And that was the challenge, like not seeing yourself and always have that struggle of believing, like, if there are all these people talking about the projects that they did when they were in high school, and where was I in high school? I didn't even have a computer or touch the computer or had that exposure. And then they're talking about their programming experiences that they did when they were in high school. Is like, who would want to hire me or see me valuable in that market or industry? That was the questions that I had for a very long time. Those are the things. And then being a mom also, finding the time to fit in, to study and do all of those things at the same time. Those are the struggles, finding, like affordable childcare. All of my classes were either online or it has to be at 6 when my husband gets home. And then it gets crazy at times during the daytime. I remember one time I was cooking, watching the baby, and then doing homework. And, you were always try to thrive on that multitasking, but sometimes it can get a lot. So I remember one time, and this is the one time that I do not advise anybody to do that. I collected all of my textbooks, put it in a trash bag, and threw it in a trash bag. Like, I'm done. Like, I did that one time for real. So my husband got it. My poor husband got it. He said, like, you shouldn't do that. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then, so there are struggles, like you mentioned, and those balancing. And then now, even like being in the industry and having, like I mentioned earlier, it's not a very long time. I'm still learning. I don't have a lot of experience, but I'm learning. I always see myself as learning in the journey to get to where I need to be. But um, yeah, I mean, it's a continuous journey, and you learn and overcome those challenges. And I still have those challenges, like, imposter syndrome. And then with COVID and, having the kids, 3 kids in 3 different classes last year, suddenly when they moved back home, and then there was a baby, now he's a toddler. But being able to manage that and other stuff causes, like in the beginning, we were fine, because you tend to think that, I'm grateful because we have our jobs and we have our health, we're healthy. And
Right.
that guilt of not, because there are other people who are in the hospital, it went for a year and something. And then at some point, we started to feel the burnout because it was just me and my husband doing everything. And then on top of that, crazy me decided to write a book too. So there's that. So,
See,
so yeah, there are definitely challenges, and the burnout and the imposter syndrome always time to time. Just you get a visitor.
yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. You said a lot. um, but again, it's about the journey. It's about, like you said, it's all about learning. Like, if you're not constantly learning in this field, you're going to fall behind. And
Mhm.
which is actually going to be a segue into our next thing, because we hack purple here, the We Hack Purple Application Security Training Academy. And thank you again. I actually just did one giveaway, and we're going to do a second giveaway because, courtesy of them, they gave me a bunch of secure coding training courses to give away to celebrate me coming back. So let's go ahead with the next one. So I want everybody in the chat to let's do hashtag We Hack Purple, just because, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be able to give away these courses. So, and in the meantime, let's see, we have Rana Khalil, who says, hold on. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. They're talking. There you go.
Assalamu
We have
alaikum.
yes, assalamu
Mhm.
alaikum, and then yeah, I was like, I didn't want to say it backwards. I saw it and I'm like, okay, wait, I think it's backwards. All right,
It
so
means peace upon you. It
yes,
means peace be on you.
Yeah, like I said, I saw the response. I didn't see the first greeting. So we have Clifton Reed. Okay, we have everybody doing the We Hack Purple. All right, so I'm gonna add those names into here. We have Clifton. Oh, We Hack Purple says we love you.
Oh my God, I love Tanya. I've always watched her multiple times, her application security, building champions program.
Oh yeah,
I, yeah,
yeah. Like
hi Tanya.
I'm actually I'm actually rereading her book right now. Um, if you haven't gotten that, shameless plug. Well, not shameless plug because it's not mine, but please go pick up Alice and Bob Learn Application Security. It's definitely a great book, and then go check out her courses.
Hmm.
I like her approach with the courses. She's literally giving you the blueprint. So please go support that. And like I said, we're about to do the next thing. If I just remember how to, there we go. You might hear it. You can't see it right now. I'm having a bunch of technical difficulties. First one back.
It's a fun one.
Yep, it's always okay. Let's see. Just so y'all don't get okay. We good. Okay, we're good. Let's see here. So next winner is Kalila, friend of the show. Kiki, you know how to reach me. Send me a DM, and I will get you the information for the secure coding course, courtesy of We Hack Purple. Now, Zinet, we talked about being an author, and we're gonna get to that. But you participated in last week's Share the Mic Cyber event, right?
Yeah,
What was
since the
your
beginning.
yeah? So you were in it since the beginning. So what was your experience?
So the first one, I missed it actually. So I found out on the last day, and then I commented on someone else's post saying that, oh, I missed this one. Maybe count me in for next time. And um, oh my God, I forgot her name now. So somebody else, which I will remember, Tracy. How can I forget? Tracy, she saw me, and then she said, I can highlight you now, and then she did a post for that. And then from there on, I didn't miss any of like I participated on all three ones, like I've been intentional when it started. So it's been a great experience, like sharing my story, my journey into the industry, and then just seeing other people getting highlighted. I love what Camille, Caitlin, and Lauren are doing. So yeah, it's been
Yeah,
great. It's been amazing. It's continuing, and it's not only just on the day off, but afterwards, like the scholarship opportunities and people looking for resources or for you a chance, to be highlighted in stories. And I've gotten a lot of opportunities as a result of the campaign. So I love it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Like I said, I had them on last week. Towards the end of the
Mm-hmm.
event, I participated in the first one, and it did so many things for me that I felt like anytime they're doing anything, if I can help out in any way, I'm there. And what they're doing is very necessary. So shout out to them and everybody who participates. It's my goal to kind of get them to talk about their experiences as well, so we can help amplify that event. So for those who want um, to hear more about Share the Mic in Cyber, just go to sharethemicincyber.com, or you can contact Lauren Zabrick, Camille Stewart, and Caitlin Ringrose. Those are the organizers, and they are some amazing women, and they're doing an amazing thing with that. So please go check that out. So now I saw earlier when you announced it that you're a cloud security engineer, correct?
Yep. I just recently started a new role with Best Buy.
Okay, well, congratulations. See, I didn't want to say the name of where, but why don't you talk about what the day in the life of a cloud security engineer is, and then I want to go into the importance of cloud security.
Well, so So like I mentioned, it's a recent job. I just started recently. Mainly the main goal for the role is just to make sure that, with the cloud migration, to make sure that the foundation is secure and everything. But I can talk about more about my state job, which is I was there as a senior information security engineer, working and wearing a different hat in terms of when projects and initiatives are started at the state, to make sure that they're secure and that we're running. So we do vulnerability management, like scanning, and then making sure that, collaborating with the developers, business analysts, to make sure that those risks are addressed, documented, or, like exceptions are submitted, all of those things. The other aspect is also working in application security. I was working in building up a program for the earlier that I mentioned, the application security champions program. I started working on that one, which is a really great program and great initiative. But before I completed that, another opportunity came in, and I had to move to Best Buy. Now it's been over a month now since I started, and it's been going great. But I'm still learning the role and learning the different cloud service providers that they're operating, learning the environment. But the day in the life of a cloud security is just like any other security professional, and learn like from the beginning. It's more about understanding their environment and connecting with people and learning about their role to build that relationship is where I'm at right now in this stage of my career there. Um, but learning and training in Kubernetes, that's the one thing that I have started is I've been taking training plural site so far on Kubernetes and learning the environment. So that's pretty much so far. But we can talk about like the importance of cloud security with everybody moving to the cloud, now, especially in the pandemic, and how things are easier to spin up and setting up things and services there and not having the right controls and in place. So it's very important that it's all about transitioning the basic security knowledge that you have and understanding the shared responsibility model, depending on which um, cloud service provider, based on that, to make sure that those are properly handled. Yeah, things like that. So feel free to have any follow-up question.
No, I'm actually glad that you said, the day in the life of cloud security is just like any other security, because people hear cloud and they get intimidated, right? And
Mm,
truth be told, that was me maybe about a year or so ago, where it was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do and how I'm gonna do it.
mhm.
And just like you said, you find some training, and my experience is to just do it, and not just take the courses. I mean, if you're looking into AWS, Amazon has a free course on it, but actually get a free AWS account or a free Google Cloud account or a free Microsoft Azure or whatever it is you're using, and actually build yourself your own your own environment. Build it up, do the security rules, and learn how it is, learn how each one works. um, like you said, cloud is
I
going to
agree.
be cloud is going to be the way of the future. It makes things a lot easier, but it also makes things a lot more difficult, because if you don't secure it properly, you are in a world of trouble. So we definitely need
Exactly.
to get people understanding and securing cloud as soon as possible.
Yeah. I
So
just want to add, if you're interested in it, I mean, you're already ready. Like if you have the basic security knowledge that you have, you just need to learn. Of course, you learn more on the job, but like you said, the labs, right? That without having any experience, mid this year, I presented and gave a talk on SANS. Initially, that was the goal wasn't to teach other people about AWS. It was me overcoming my public speaking challenges, and I wanted to do something because I heard that in my mentor AJ, you know him, he always says that, you know, if you want to overcome a public speaking, it's only by doing public speaking. So I submitted that call for paper, just let's do it. And then I taught myself everything that I spoke on that 30 minutes about, you know, building the lab and what to show, and you know, all of those things that you're doing are really preparing you for your next job, and maybe you don't know it, you're ready, and when the opportunities present themselves to you, and then you just take it.
Yeah. And real quick, shout out to Sands, um, because that was my first major public speaking engagement as well. My the API
Mm-hmm.
talk I gave last year, and I know they get a bad rap and they catch a lot of heat, for the cost of their. I'm not going to do quotes, but for the cost of their courses, but it's really good material. And like I said, even if you don't take the courses, the opportunities that they give people to speak at their conferences, to speak to host one of their talks, they help get you set up. So shout out to them. Um, Now you touched on this earlier, and I think even though you've done a lot, I think this is probably one of your best achievements is your book, right? So you have your book, Pride in Her Hijab. I actually read it, and I
Awesome.
think it's an amazing book. I think it teaches so many lessons, even though it's geared towards children. I think some grown ass adults need to read it as well, especially in the times we live in. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll touch on that in a little bit, but go ahead and just talk about what led you to write that book, and what that experience was like.
Yeah, so you know, like I mentioned earlier, during the pandemic this year, I just had this idea. I've always admired like authors in general, and then people who write children's book, like reading with my kids or like reading, just looking at children's books. I've always like wondered like how they put together everything, and like, oh, I want to do this sometime. I've always said that, but like not, you know, I always say when the kids are out of this house and I'm like over 40 and when I'm old, that's what I always say. Like that's when it was, because that's when I would have like fresh brain, when I didn't get cold every 10 minutes. So I but I had this idea and I just felt the urge, like the message needed to get out. It's so important. Sometimes we always say that, you know, we're not an author, and but everybody really has a story to tell to other, you know, people, to other people. And then the moment I learned that, you know, the message that you write isn't for yourself, it's for someone else. Somebody else needed to hear it. So
Mm,
but it came really from, you know, years of questions that came from my kids, right? It's either about their hair type, their braids, and or you know, even my son, like not only the girls, like why do I have this type of hair and my friends, all of them have that, and it's all, you know, from answering those questions. And if you read the book, like you see those conversations reflected. And my daughters, right? So you know, they don't regularly wear it because they're so young, but when they're wearing their hijab and going to school, some of the questions that they're getting. So to address that, why not? And every children's book that I see on hijab, we already have it, and it's a couple, you know, so many. So why not write our own, right? Our own story with characters that look like us, and just tell it. So the biggest hurdle is like, how do I do that? Like, I know the story, I wrote the book in one sitting, right? But then you need to have illustrators, designers, formatters, editors. There is a lot of work that goes through, you know, in the background, even though you see it like a 34 page book. Um, yeah, the inspirations are again the kids. It's our own story, so not that hard, right, to write it. So I learned everything from online. You know, after work, I'd always be braiding my girls' hair and be listening, tuning in on Clubhouse. I don't know if you're on it, or cooking in the kitchen. I'll be just listening and joining different author rooms to learn about like what do you do after editing, and then how do you hire an illustrator, and then, you know, all of those steps. And then the book got published like within 3 or 4 months after its inception from the beginning in March. And then it got launched and it became #1 bestseller on the day that I launched it, which was on Eid Day, which happens to be a coincidence. Like when I was nearing, and I thought, oh, it would be a great day, like to do that, to launch that on Eid Day, which was a festive. So it got launched and it's been successful. It's doing great so far. I mean, I've been getting great feedback from people. Being a self-published author, you need to do a lot of marketing. You really are operating as a project manager, and handling everything from editing to people, delegating to other people, teach you patience and a lot of things. But yeah, so far it's doing great. It's going to different schools. I'm trying to get it into libraries. Yeah, that's
That's
the
awesome.
story.
No,
Thank you.
that's awesome, and we're gonna do. Um, yes,
Okay.
but I mean, congratulations on it being #1 bestseller. That's amazing, and like I said, I read the book, and I loved the fact that the main character, the young girl, went to school the very next day and sat them down and said, basically, you're going to learn something, and taught them, and the fact that they were receptive to it and understood it, and they even apologized, and for that
Play together.
yes, played together, and then the very end of the book, you have the themes, which is, be proud of who you are, beliefs, and embrace your identities, respect and be kind to everyone, including those who are different from you, be brave and stand up for yourself. That's important. Don't shy away from sharing what you go through. It's okay to share your feelings to your family and friends, and get to know someone before judging them. I mean, that's the part where I feel like some people really need to just remember that. Um, but the two that I like, or I would say three, the be brave and stand up for yourself, the don't shy away from sharing what you go through. Like I said, that I really liked how open and honest the children were in the story, explaining it to their mother. How the other children had input, and in the end, like I said, it built the courage in the young girl to go back the next day and just, no, this is what it is. This is who I am. So again, like I said, if you haven't gone out to read it, I know it's a children's book, but I love it. And actually, Caitlin Ringrose said to me offline when she found out that you were going to be my guest. She's like, "Have you read the book yet?" And I'm like, "No, I planned on reading it that weekend." And she's like, "Yes." She's like, "I love it. I love it so much." So again, kudos to you and congratulations.
Thank you
And
so much, Caitlin. It's amazing.
yeah. And Kalila Scott says those are all good rules to live by. And it is. And like I said, the fact that you're doing that in children, you're teaching them young. So that's definitely important. So any more books on the horizon?
Yeah, before I get to that, you talked about the themes at, the back of the book because, like it summarizes sort of like what the book is about, like the subtle messages that wasn't talked about in the book, like, or the character said. So two things, right, to be learned from the book is that one is like empowering the girls, those girls who are wearing or who choose to wear the hijab, to be proud of themselves, right? And the second piece is creating awareness. A lot of those negative comments or stereotypes come from not knowing, especially with children. So having this kind of books and having it in classrooms and having conversation in the book being as a conversation starter to have these discussions is to really bring awareness for readers that the importance of diversity and inclusion and appreciating other people's culture and belief and other cultural differences. So those are the two messages that I needed to do. So for your question with the second book, yes, there is another book coming, again, children's book, but this time a transitional chapters book um, for New Year, like in the beginning of New Year or so. That's what I'm actively working on. And I can talk about like the what it is about, but you'll have to wait until it comes out for the title or for what it looks like. I'm not going to spoil it.
No, that's
Yeah,
fair. That's fair. I was trying to
yeah,
get the exclusive.
exactly. Yeah, get the exclusive. Why not? It's the premiere, right? The season premiere. So the book is about, with the pandemic, how people, especially kids, are spending more time online. So it's about teaching kids, the importance of online safety.
I love it.
And also sparking interest in young readers, especially girls, the possibility of exploring the field of cybersecurity as a future career option. So it has those two messages with the story, again, with characters that look like us, and telling the people that like we can be in this kind of fields, working in cybersecurity or STEAM field, and that we're here to stay. Those kind of messages that it has. So I'll be announcing the pre-orders soon for the beginning of New Year to be released.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it, and it actually segues right into the next question. Um, but yes, please, and when the pre-order comes, let me know. I will. I'm on that one. So the next question was actually about how we can get more diversity into cybersecurity, and this includes bringing in younger people. Um, and 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 I preface this by saying no disrespect to the people who are allies and are helping bring more diversity into the field, but I also feel like we have a responsibility to to be that change as well. I do feel like we have a responsibility to reach out to our communities, our respective communities, and tell them that it's possible. I did it. You can do it. So, what would you suggest we do, as like I said, as a whole, to bring in more diversity, more young people in cybersecurity?
Yeah. So talking about it, like the possibility of this field existing and thriving for everybody else, talking about it is very important, and especially in schools. If I hadn't that exposure back in, when I was doing computer science, after I pivoted to, from legal to technology, I wouldn't have known about it, or maybe I might be very late, like finding about it, or it might be another exposure. But it would be great to have that, integrating it. Now I'm hearing a lot of programs have like from associate degree to bachelor's degree having those cybersecurity programs. But when I moved here from Ethiopia, and I did a lot of research. Like even though I wanted to get into technology, I was researching every time, like up until, I had my second daughter, up until like the next semester begins, I was always researching. And a lot of the programs that I've seen is like programming, networking, or other stuff. So I just started with that. If I had known, I might have chosen that one. So having those programs, and also talking positively about, the good and the bad, of course, but talking about it and giving that exposure from high school or even early on, because kids, I have a 6-year old, she knows a lot of things. She's in first grader, she knows a lot of things, like creating that exposure, being through children's book or talking about it in their school. So if I hadn't had that exposure, that CCDC or that professor didn't say anything, I might not have found that. So we need to talk about it. We need to show and highlight people who are in the industry. I first last year, I think you are part of it, Devin. The Najla did, OGs within the Black cybersecurity professionals. That's when I first saw AJ, and asked him like, "Can you be my mentor?" And at that point, he wasn't as CEO or like bite check wasn't a thing like at that point. But I made a lot of professionals at that. Like I felt something like there are all these people who are actually professionals and doing this for a very long time, and that I can be here, I belong. And you know just having that those kind of events also is helpful. Like I'm always hunting those and learning from people and getting inspired. So I think those are the ones. And then, like share the mic and Sever. I wish we had more of those on a continuous basis to highlight people and talk about that so that other people can get inspired and explore. And if they like it, and if it's their calling, and if that's what they want to do, so that they can confidently go for it and pursue that.
Oh, that's awesome. I agree 100%. Um, I feel like the kids, they're so technically inclined. I mean, we didn't have all the technology in the palm of our hands when we were kids. So I definitely feel like reaching out to them would be beneficial, and they might be able to teach us a couple things. Um, Dwayne Dunstan, previous guest, and he's also a college professor. He talks about how he actually gave a TED talk on you know giving like teenagers jobs in cybersecurity, that will help um, teach them the fundamentals at an early age. So I definitely think there's a lot of different things that we can do, and there's a lot of different events in different platforms, and we should all really try to come together and make that happen, because like it's all of our responsibility in this field.
Yeah, and the
So
children are the ones who will be doing the work next generation when we get old and when we're when we're retiring. So yeah, not
that
only get them excited to be using the technology, but actually teach them how to be secure and learn that and know that this is something that they can explore and you know just to love it and know that they don't have to go through it, but just creating that exposure is, I think, is what our responsibility is.
No, absolutely. I definitely don't want to keep doing this when I'm 60. I definitely
Right.
want to bring some people in and teach them how to be, better than me. Um,
Same. Yeah.
and with that being said, if someone were to come to you now, even I know you're still learning, and I know, you know, we talked about cybersecurity as a field where you're constantly learning. But if someone were to come to you and say, "I'm interested in it," um, what tips would you give them? Three tips that you would give to anyone who's new that's interested in tech.
Oh, first of all, I would say welcome. You're needed. Your skills are needed from wherever you're coming. You're welcome, like you belong. And we have so many problems to solve. So just welcome them, like versus gatekeeping, right? First, I always want to say, like, cybersecurity isn't like a one career job title. It's a broad thing that consists of like so many 7 to 8 broad domains within it. So I would advise like research and find out what is your area of interest. Sometimes we land onto some things, but we can always pivot to the other where we might be more interested or inclined. When I began, I started in IT auditing, which gave me exposure to learning the different, frameworks, the NIST cybersecurity framework or the CIS, learning about the business and what security really is. It's not always about hacking um, you know, or pen testing, right? It's
Yeah.
about, enabling the business, right? There are different domains to it. So research and find out where your area is. I started in IT auditing. When I was doing the IT auditing, I did a CISA certification to validate my skills. Even though at that point it was requiring 5 years of experience, I had a bachelor's degree, to compensate, and the other experiences full time that you have in IT, you can do that and validate and have those skills. And with that, I built myself to going to the security engineering realm where I moved to the state government. So first is like find out and find the nearest job that is close to the security space, be it to do internship or whatever. The other piece is find people, like connect with people on LinkedIn, and find mentors so that you can connect with them and learn and be what you want to be, like seeing them, like what are they doing, what are they tweeting, what are they posting, what is important in the industry. Tuning in podcasts, I would always be tuning in while I'm cooking on podcasts and learning. uh, there isn't a free time that I'm not like trying to grasp something every day, just learn something and know your mode of learning too. Like it doesn't always have to be going to a formal education. It could be pursuing a certain certification that's geared towards that specific area that you wanted to go, starting from security plus, and then you can, specialize that to whatever you want to go. If you're into cloud, you do AWS cloud practitioner, and so, solutions architect, and then you move from there on. Or that's what I did. Like when I found out that my next specialization is going to be in the cloud, I did AWS cloud practitioner, and then I started solutions architect. But then I needed to get a more holistic idea of like what cloud security is in general. So I did CCSK. I think who offers that? I think the Cloud Security Alliance, or so I did that one. And then I did the SANS Cloud Security Essentials one, GCLD. That's a new one that was recently that I did it back in August. So know your mode of learning. Usually it may not be reading books. For me, I think I'm learning from time to time, and I'm seeing that my mode of learning is changing. I don't have time to sit down and read a whole book. And nowadays I don't have the span of attention to tune in and watch videos too. So I learn better from listening to panels and webinars and discussions, right? So know which ones are more, geared towards your family situation. Like I can't sit down and read with my kids and the craziness. So know your mode of learning. I like cybersec.org. That website I always suggest to people, like, to see where they need to go. It's an interactive map to show you like where jobs are, and like from any entry point, if you're coming from development or other background, like where you can start from entry to intermediate to advanced level. Know those. And the main thing I would say is like build your confidence. Whatever you are, you're ready for something. Like you don't have to have and pack and stack all those certifications. Whatever you are, you have something to give and deliver. Start from there and build that confidence that I am in cybersecurity. I have security mind. I'm willing to learn. I have the passion, and I can give something and to enable the business, whatever organization I'm going to be in. So that's the mindset. Like if you don't believe in yourself and have that confidence to say that I am the professional, then no one will. So of course, will be things that you work on along the way. For example, me, I'm always struggling. I'm doing this. When you invite me, like my initial give, but you learn in, and you through practice you overcome it along the way. So those are the couple of advices that I would give.
That's some great advice. Thank you for sharing that. So chat, my pack, we're going to get to the Q&A real quick, but before we do that, I have two more questions for our guest. So Zinet, what are your goals? It could be short term, it could be long term, it could be just for the rest of the year, but what goals do you have for the future? I think you're muted. I can't hear you. Oh, there you go.
Okay, how about now?
Yep,
okay.
You're good.
For 2020, okay. For 2021, my goal is like to better learn and grow within my current role. I needed to, better understand and learn cloud and cloud security. To learn every day something new so that I can be better at my current role. Usually, we're always after getting a new job, and we don't think about how to make ourselves better in our current role as we exist, so that how can we be better professionals. That's my goal. And I'm also doing a training in Kubernetes, so to learn more about that, finish my training, so that I can be more resourceful to my team and myself and personal development goals. And then also, I'm doing grad school at Georgia Tech University. I've been only taking one or two classes, seeing depending on how things are with kids and everything. So, and the books too. So, just to complete that class, I am planning to graduate by the end of next year. So to complete that. is my goal, and of course to finish the second book. These are the goals for this year. I think it's a lot of goal for just 2 months, but
I was gonna say
that's
that's
where
the
I
goals for.
am.
I'm gonna say that's the goals for this year. Whew.
Yeah, not the grad school, because I'm doing full
Yeah.
class to complete that class, but long term is to finish my master's program by the end of the year. I mean, I have started last year and no fall of 2019, and I have to take a break when the pandemic hit and when all of the kids moved back home and everything, and I have to withdraw one of the classes. Sometimes you have to know your limits, right? You have to know your limits. At that point, I was on just completed my maternity leave and trying to get back to work, and 2 weeks of work, and we were told shut down everything. I mean, which is good for me. I always, tend to see the positive and the time saved from the commute, getting the kids ready, and all of that. But at the same time, we were the source of everything. Like we had to entertain them, be school supporters, not teachers, but supporters, because they have their teachers.
Yeah.
I have a huge respect for teachers' patience, because it was really hard reminding the kids, like, you have a meeting in 2 minutes, like reminding them, and they will challenge you saying, why do I need to have 2 meetings or 3 meetings just for kindergarten? And you have to explain to them. So hopefully that stays as a history for another book, maybe. Somebody
Yeah.
else will write it in the pack. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Death by Zoom calls and Google Meets. So, all right. So, final question. I know you've seen the show before. Well, I hope you've seen the show before. But I ask this
I
to
did.
every guest. So, I'm going to ask you, what is your why?
For doing everything, right? Yeah. I mean, I see cybersecurity as a profession that is really like important, meaningful, actually delivering like value to whatever business that we're operating, being small business, government, state, private, education, to every industry. So I actually see like the profession as a very impactful and meaningful career. So being able to contribute a little bit to solve any kind of problem that we're facing in the industry is my why, and to inspire other people that we can be here in this industry, coming from legal background or another country, or having a different any type of background or walks of life, that we can be contributing to this field, and we can be successful, and that we can be, continuous learners and contributors. And the other why I'm thinking is like my kids, right? Being a good role model for them, that they can be successful if they set their minds to it, no matter the adversity and obstacles that they face, that they can achieve whatever they have their mind set to. So many whys, but those are the main ones.
And those are very good ones, and I love it, especially the one with the kids. Got to leave it in a better place than
Mm.
what we left it, and set them up for success. So I definitely love it. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Zinet Kemal. We're gonna do this. One, you never really realize how long that soundbite is. But I really thank you for joining. Thank you for doing the online chat troubleshooting. Um, Thank you for everything that you're doing. Congratulations on your book being number one. I can't wait to see the next book. If you have not picked up that book yet, please pick it up. Proud in Her Hijab. Please, you can tell them where to find it if you have a website, and you can also tell them how to reach you.
Sure. I have a website, www.zinetkemal.com, but it's also available on Amazon. I can drop the link here, and Barnes Noble and Target, and all of those stores in paperback or hardcover format. So yeah, I can drop in the link here too.
Okay, yeah, you put that in the chat, and I actually have a shortened Amazon link right here in the
Cool.
in the right here as well. But yeah, please share that. Please go support it. Please go pick up the book. Give it to your kids if you have them. If not, you can read it as well. Hell, give it to someone who needs to be reminded of what being a good person is about. But Zinet, like I said, I thank you for joining. And with that being said, let's see if they're going to get into any Q&A. I see there's a couple people who are just, applauding you. So you have Ty, who says right on. Dante says shout out to Georgia Tech. Grad school life.
Yeah.
Mary says love the conversation. Studio Sec says great stream. Oh, actually, I'll wait before I say that. Cyber Insight JB also says great chat. I think we showed this one earlier from Kalila, who says those are good rules to live by. Professor Black Ops says container life. And then we also have other friends of the show. DFI Diva says congratulations. Same thing with Rana Khalil says congratulations. So if anybody has any questions, now would be the time to add it. If not, we're going to wrap up the show. Like I said, we started a little late with the interview, but we got through it, and I'm glad you guys stuck around. It was a great conversation, and this was exactly why I wanted to have you as the first guest back. Like I said, I've been paying attention to what you've been doing now for about a year or so, and I think I told you from before. I think you were on the you were in the chat one time and said, I want to be on the show," and I'm like, okay, let's set it up, right? And like I said, and I started to pay attention and just seeing everything that you're doing with your career journey. Like I said, I think there was a Medium article about you I read back in the springtime, and everything that you were doing, and your story is definitely one of perseverance and hard work and dedication. And I I needed to have you on the show because I needed to have you share your story and explain to people, that it can be done and you can do it with 4 children, with coming to a new country, with living in the cold of Minnesota, and and doing very well for yourself. So I'm so thankful to you for agreeing to be on the show. I'm so thankful for you for sharing your story. I'm so thankful for you for writing that book and sharing that book based on your experiences. And I think you're doing a great job, not only as a cybersecurity professional, but as an author and as an adult, as a mom, and as a human being. So again, I commend you, and I wish you all the best. You're on mute. I think it's muted again. Still can't hear it. Still can't hear anything. It's all right. Well, technical difficulties. Okay, yes. So she says thank you. Studio Sec says, where should people go to start learning more about working in the cloud? Any differences to on-prem networking? I think she talked about it earlier. I think she said she was training on Pluralsight. Amazon has free training. Google has free training. Just Google which one you want to learn, and take advantage of those free opportunities out there. And as far as the differences to on-prem networking, yes, the main thing is that you're not really dealing with physical hardware anymore, and that the cloud is more scalable. You can fire up more servers as you need it, or you can decommission servers as you don't need it. So there's a lot to learn with that. There's a lot about securing it and everything. And Zinet also says that Udemy has affordable courses, which, and she keeps beating me to it, but I was actually going to put that right here in the chat. So please remember to go check out Udemy. Let's see. So they do have a bunch of courses that are super affordable, and there's always a sale going on. So please go check them out. If you like what I'm doing here, please like, subscribe, comment. Let's boost the algorithm to keep this going. since I decided I'm coming back, I'm going to come back full force, and we're going to try to build this up even more. And also, I'm going to need it since I'm back, and I have a great lineup coming up. So if you want to support me other ways, you can buy me a coffee. So please like, follow, and subscribe. Buy me a coffee. Leave your comments in the chat. Let me know who you want to hear from next. And as I'm starting to get 2022's lineup, next week I actually have. I'm pretty sure you heard of them, but I will have Hacker Valley Studios as my guest. We're going to talk about them, being leaders in the podcast space, as well as some new ventures that they're working on. So Zinet still muted, but again, I thank you for joining, ladies and gentlemen. This has been Alpha Cybersecurity. I've been your host, Davin Jackson. This has been my guest, Zinet Kemal. Please give a round of applause to her. I have to find my sound stuff again. And then also, it's really, I got to shorten that. And then also, please give a shout out to JB Cyber Insight or on YouTube, JBizzle703 on Twitter. Thank you for coming in my time of need and jumping in to help me while we were working through this issue. And also, shout out to Studio Sec. Since he wanted to spoil it, I was going to say it, but I will be a guest on Studio Sec on Caleb's show on Monday. I believe it's with him and Makeshift. So if you want to go check us out over there, please do. Also, go check out his channel. He's got a lot of great stuff going on over there. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of InfoSec Unplugged, and I will see you all next week. Take care.